Hey guys, Stephanie here. I wanted to show you how I make my cute little snake pot hanger. So I just use this Sculpey 3 clay. You can get this on Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. It is a pretty soft clay, so it's not great for like really teeny tiny details, but it's perfect for the snakes that we're going to make today. So let me get it out of the package here. And it's a beautiful teal color. It's got some like glitter in it, so it's kind of shimmery. I don't think you're going to be able to see it on camera, but it's very cute and I'm pretty excited to use this. So what you want to do first is called conditioning your clay, and you want to condition it because of this. So you can see this broke apart. It's pretty chunky. It's got all these little ragged edges, and we want it more like this edge here where it's nice and elastic. So to condition it, all you got to do is squish it back and forth, get it nice and warmed up until it's kind of like a Play-Doh consistency. It's very soft, very malleable, very easy to work with. If you don't do this, you run the risk of your sculpture just not working out, or it cracking, or pieces falling off of it. So once you get it conditioned, bend it. You can see no cracks, completely soft and elastic, just like we want it. So I'm going to work on conditioning the rest of this, and I'll be right back. Once you get it nice and conditioned, like this is right here, what you want to do is you're just going to roll out a snake like you did anytime you have Play-Doh in your hands. The only difference is that we want a thin tail and a thicker body. So you're going to have a little bit of variation in your sizes. So the important thing to remember when you're doing that is with this clay especially, you don't want to add a whole lot of pressure. You want to roll on both ends to get that taper. So both hands rolling. This way another piece doesn't get stuck to the table and break off. Now taper that tail out. And then we're going to work on lengthening the body and then get a little bit of a taper where the head's going to connect later. So again, you don't need to apply a whole lot of pressure. This clay is pretty soft once you condition it. So you just need to roll it gently, tiny bit of pressure. You can also pull very gently. If you see, I kind of go from the middle and work my way out while I'm pulling. That way I don't get like I did right here where a section of it gets really thin in the middle. So we don't want that. But this is a pretty good size for where I want the neck to be. I do want to stretch out the body just a little bit more. And you can see that I am being really gentle. And I'm going to just taper off this tail a little bit more because we're going to end up stretching. And I don't want that tail to be too thin. So just keep working. As you see, I get all the pieces rolling at the same time. It's very important. So right there, I have a little bit of dip. I'm going to try to smooth that out so I don't have to start over. And I think we did a pretty good job fixing that. I'm going to fiddle with it a little bit more. And then I'm going to show you how to make the body. So with the snake, you want to pinch in a triangle shape. So you don't want to pinch the bottom and the top. You want to just pinch towards the top so that you're making kind of a very soft rounded triangle with the body. This is just going to mimic how snakes look when they're kind of moving and muscles are tensing. Our snake is going to be natural looking but not realistic looking, and what I mean by that is like it's not going to look like a cartoon like if I left the body just rounded, but it's not gonna look super realistic either. I mean, it's teal. I don't think there's a teal snake out there, but if there is, I bet it's beautiful. But you just want to pinch, kind of make this triangle shape. Be really careful at the tail and just pull off any piece that you need there. And then you're just going to pick it up, make sure it looks pretty even. Mine looks pretty close to even. And you can see at this direction that it is triangle. So that's what we want. I'm going to just rock this back and forth on the sides. Try to smooth out as much as I can on the clay, any dips or grooves or gouges like from your nails or anything like that, just so it saves you some time later on after you bake it. You don't have as much to sand. You are going to want to sand your figurine by the time it's done baking and cooling off, because you're going to have a lot of fingerprints in it and it makes painting it kind of rough. So you just want to make sure you get it nice and smooth. Do your best to smooth it out beforehand, and just take your time. Don't rush. So here, all I'm going to do is use this daughter to smooth out the edges. So I'm just going to use the rounded flat side, and I'm just going to continue smoothing out as much as I can. So now that I got the body done, what I want to do is focus on the head. So I want to measure out some clay to where it's going to look proportional to the rest of the body. So I'm going to grab this clay here, make sure you condition it, and you want to measure up. That's kind of big, so I'm going to half that. And it's going to be kind of like a diamond shape, not a full diamond shape, I guess like a triangle shape, but that looks perfect. Not too small, not too big. And you want to roll into a ball, then you're going to pinch half the ball, and then you want to pinch going towards the snout so that you get this triangular shape. So now you have a three-dimensional skull to start with. You want the bridge of the nose to be pretty flat, but you want from the top of the bridge there down to curve under. So you want kind of this slope going down into the jaw. Just like that. The rest of the head is pretty flat, and so the rest of it you don't want to add too much in there. I'm going to get my tool here in a second and put a little ridge where like the eyeballs and the skull is. Okay, so here you can see that jaw shape. That's what you're going for. So again, the rest of the head's pretty flat. It's not going to be super wide because this is not going to be a venomous snake. And so I'm using this tool just to put a little bit of a ridge here. Then I'm just going to smooth that out. Make it nice and seamless. So using a silicone tool or a Cricut weeder tool, I just like to start carving out lines where the mouth is going to be. So I'm going to make this like A shape, and then I want it to go around the bottom of the jaw, and then I like curling it up there at the end for a nice little smile. They always have like this little indentation right there for some reason, and I just like adding it. I don't know if every snake has it or if it's even a thing, but it's something I like doing. I'm just going to make sure I get that in there and really get these lines nice and crisp, and I like to carve it out just a little bit. Oh, I'm out of frame. Once you have the mouth carved out the way you want it, you want to take some kind of pointy tool. This is that Cricut weeding tool I was talking about. And you want to just kind of poke a hole and kind of lift it up for the nostril, kind of going in towards the middle. Try to get them the same size. If you get little ridges on top, you can just smooth those down or leave them if you want a little nostril detail. And then I'm just gonna make sure all my little pieces are exactly how I like them. Like I said, I like this little gap here. I don't know why, but I do. I think it looks cute. So now you want some kind of tool with a rounded end. I have these dotting tools. I really like them for this. And so you want to make sure that on the side of the head, we're going to place our eyeballs, not the top. On the side, right above that little curve, just like that. And then you want to just measure it and make sure that it's the same going across to the other side. So I'm going to use my tool like this and just drag it over and put that indentation in. Make sure it's even, or as even as you can get it. Now you can leave this just like this, paint it black and move on with your life, but I like adding little eyeballs in it that kind of come out of the sockets a little bit. And so that's what we're going to do next. You want to grab just a tiny piece of clay Don't need a lot. Those eye sockets are pretty small. And then you want to split it in half, get it as even as possible, and then roll them out into 2 little balls. That looks about half. And 2 mostly even balls. That's close enough. And so I'm just going to place it in the indentation. If I don't drop it, oh, dropped it anyway. Right in that indentation. Just make sure you press firmly, but you don't want to flatten it out too much. You want it to be rounded. And then do the same on the other side and get like cute little eyeballs. Just like that. Now that I've got the head where I want it and shaped and detailed the way I like it, I'm going to attach it to the body. So to do that, I am going to split this piece in half. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. This is just the way I like to do it so that I make sure that the head is nice and attached. So I'm going to split it in half and then I'm going to sandwich the head right in there. Make sure that you press firmly all the way to the back. And then I'm going to lay these pieces across the top and the bottom. So here you should see there's a little gap in between my neck and my body. I'm just going to wiggle that until there's no gap. And then I'm going to use my tool and smooth it all out. Now that I have the head attached, I'm going to show you how I set it all up. So I'll see you over in the kitchen with this cute little guy. Alright, so I'm going to preheat my oven to 275. You always want to check the instructions that come on the little plastic wrap on your clay. And then it's about 15 minutes per 1/4 of an inch. So for this guy, we're going to bake him for about 20 minutes. Now what you see me doing here is I just needed a space to be able to set up my snake in the pose that I want him to be in. And so on this little bread pan that's on a cookie sheet, I'm going to just bend and twirl and just get this little tail and this little guy set up the way I want. You want the back end, like the middle end of your snake, to be mostly on the back side of your container. And then with the head, you want to be very gentle, but I want him to sit up straight and be alert and super adorable. Because he's sitting here up, he's going to do really nice, but once he is in the oven, if I leave him unsupported, he's going to fall. So I'm going to get another bread pan And I'm just going to make a makeshift support. So I'm going to set my bread pan up. Don't mess up your tail like I just did. And I'm also going to get a kitchen knife to put under his chin because I want his head to be upright and almost a 90-degree angle. So anything you can put in the oven, that's all you need for this. So I'm going to show you here in just a moment exactly what this is going to look like from above. So this is what we got. Got him nice and sandwiched in there. And because it's me, I definitely dropped this guy and broke him. So I'm just going to super glue him back together. And because I'm me, I forgot to hit record. And so here you see me just painting a pattern along his body in this light pink. And then I'm going to add some of this darker pink to it. And probably add some white polka dots. Just because I think they look cool. I'll see you at the end and show you what he looks like. Here he is all painted, super cute. Got my little polka dots. They look kind of just like shines off of like scales to me. That's why I like adding it. I think they're just cute. Gives them a little more visual interest. And so here I'm going to start resining our guy. This just seals in the paint so that it doesn't chip, and it gives him a little more strength so that if he falls or get knocked over, he's less likely going to break. Now, when you're resining, you want to use a UV resin. I just get mine from Hobby Lobby. And you want to use a silicone tipped tool. And you want to do one section at a time. So a little bit at a time, because that resin will continue to move and flow and it'll start dripping if you don't cure it. So I do the head, do a 30-second cure, and then move my way back in about an inch or so of areas. Sometimes I do left and right. So in this video, I will go left and right and just cure it as I go all the way down the body. And then I do a quick sweep across the belly, and he's finished. I'll see you at the end. Here he is, all nice and shiny and done. I'll show you a few pictures of him on a pot. Oh my gosh, so cute. Turned out adorable. Here are a few more that I've made in the past. This one's not finished, but I really hope you enjoy these, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Bye!